Heidegger once warned us that technology would drain existence of meaning. But if you look closely, he wasn't entirely right. Because love stripped it first. What you're about to hear isn't a celebration of romance. It's an autopsy of the 21st century soul. A soul caught in a silent war where every relationship becomes a transaction, every promise a temporary illusion, and every broken man just another casualty. Picture this. You're 19. It's 2 in the morning. You're lying in bed, the glow of your phone burning into your eyes, waiting for a single text back from her. You replay every conversation, every laugh, every lingering glance, searching for hidden meaning. Your chest tightens, your stomach turns. You feel like you're standing on the edge of an abyss, and the only thing that could pull you back is her validation. But why does it hurt so much? That's the question that matters. The answer is brutal. So brutal, most men spend their entire lives running from it. Romantic love, at least the way we worship it today, is nothing more than a cultural hallucination, a dopamine carnival designed to keep you chasing shadows. And Heidegger, the philosopher who stared into the void like few others, understood this long before Tinder ever existed. History gives us the clearest mirror. In 12th century France, a knight named Abelard fell madly in love with Heloise, a brilliant young scholar. Their love consumed them. When her family discovered the affair, they castrated Abelard in his sleep. Both were forced into monasteries, yet their letters reveal that their passion burned decades after. They loved despite mutilation, despite exile, despite fate itself. Now look at us today. Swipe right. Exchange a handful of shallow pleasantries. Endure weeks of games only to get a lukewarm "hey" and a date where she scrolls her phone every 5 minutes. What happened to us? Heidegger would say we've lost authenticity. We don't live from our own being. We live in das Man, the they self. Our desires aren't really ours. Society implants them. And nowhere is this clearer than in romance. Think about it. The idea of the one was never some timeless truth. It was invented by medieval poets selling stories. Fast forward, and the dating industry thrives by keeping you desperate, keeping you consuming. Even what you find attractive is programmed. Algorithms, pornography, rom-coms, they all train women to expect a prince and men to tolerate neglect in exchange for scraps of affection. But here's the darker twist. In 18th century Japan, samurai practiced mujo, the art of loving without attachment. They wrote poems for women they knew would marry others. They didn't see this as tragedy. They saw it as a truth we've forgotten. Love is not ownership, not salvation. It is a fleeting encounter with the sublime. And the moment you try to cage it, you kill it. Yet here we are, trapped in a culture that tells men love is a contract. Do everything right, be charming, be successful, be kind, and she owes you affection. Heidegger would call that inauthentic being. You're not loving her, you're performing for her. And the second she senses that desperation, that need for her to complete you, desire dies, because neediness kills attraction every time. So what's the alternative? Hold that thought, because first you need to see the bigger picture, how modern dating has turned love into a capitalist nightmare. You wake up, phone buzzes, notification from a dating app, 5 new matches waiting. Heart races, you open it, 4 are bots. The 5th is real, but her reply is a single word before disappearing forever. Then comes the premium upgrade offer. Boost your profile, get more likes. This isn't love, this is a slot machine. And you're the addict feeding quarters into a rigged game, convinced the next poll will finally fix your loneliness. Heidegger called this Gestell, in framing, The reduction of people into resources, data points, statistics. Nowhere is it harsher than in the commodification of love. Consider a chilling experiment. In the 1950s, psychologist Harry Harlow separated baby monkeys from their mothers. He gave them two options, one surrogate made of wire that provided milk, and another covered in soft cloth that offered no food. The starving monkeys still clung to the cloth mother. Harlow called this contact comfort, the need for warmth and touch stronger even than the need for survival. Fast forward to today. You sit alone, scrolling Instagram, watching strangers live lives you'll never touch. You order food through an app. You consume porn through a screen. You text instead of talking. And when the silence closes in, you open Tinder or Bumble, digital wire mothers, hoping this time, maybe this time, you'll feel whole. But you don't. You can't. Because those apps aren't designed to make you happy. They're designed to make you spend.
Dating apps rake in $5.6 billion a year selling you hope. The wedding industry swallows $300 billion on the lie that marriage equals happiness. Divorce lawyers pocket $50 billion annually, sweeping up the wreckage. Even self-help gurus repackage desperation into $10,000 coaching programs. This isn't love. This is late-stage capitalism weaponizing biology. And the ugliest part? You've been trained to blame yourself. She ghosts you? I must not be attractive enough. She loses interest? I should have played it cooler. She chooses someone else? I'm not good enough. But the truth is far darker. In 2018, a Tinder insider leaked the truth. The algorithm is designed to keep you single. It dangles just enough success to hook you. A match here, a conversation there, but never enough to leave. Because if you find love, you stop paying. This is the same trick casinos use: intermittent reinforcement. Random rewards are more addictive than guaranteed ones. And just like a gambler chasing losses, you keep swiping, keep buying boosts, keep telling yourself, one more try. Heidegger warned that technology doesn't just change what we do, it changes who we are. 500 years ago, men wrote sonnets. They fought duels for honor. They composed symphonies for women they couldn't have. Today, you send a DM. You wait. You agonize over whether to double text. You've reduced the most profound human experience into a notification. History repeats this manipulation. Every era's elite weaponized love to control the masses. In Victorian England, women were told sex was shameful, so they'd marry for security, not passion. In 1950s America, men were sold the idea that a wife and a house equaled happiness, so they'd stay obedient workers. And today, we're sold the lie that love is a marketplace, so we keep consuming, keep scrolling, keep numb. Even our fantasies are commodified. Romance novels and porn, two sides of the same coin, program us to crave illusions. Women are told to expect a billionaire who's both dominant and emotionally available. Men are told to believe if they hustle hard enough, a perfect 10 will magically appear to fix their lives. Both are traps. So what's the way out? Heidegger posed a dangerous question. Who am I when no one is watching? Because here's the truth. You don't love women. You love the idea of being loved by them. And that's why you're trapped. Real love, the kind that doesn't destroy you, can only come from a man who doesn't need it. A man who creates meaning outside validation. A man who engages with women not as saviors or enemies, but as fellow travelers in this absurd world. But before you can reach that state, you have to confront something darker. The wound society won't let you speak of. Male trauma. and the war on masculine vulnerability. There's a wound inside you that never healed. You don't talk about it. Maybe you don't even admit it exists, but it's there, a dull ache under every breakup, every lonely night, every time you swallow pain and whisper, "I just need to man up." Heidegger said modern man lives in fallenness, a state of self-betrayal, where we abandon who we truly are to meet the world's expectations. Nowhere is this clearer than in how men are forced to navigate love. History gives us brutal reminders. In 1917, during the Battle of Passchendaele, a British soldier named James Wyatt was found sobbing in the trenches, clutching a letter. His fiancée had left him. His comrades mocked him. His officers called him weak. 3 days later, he charged into no man's land without a rifle. Death was easier than shame.
Fast forward to today. You sit with your friends after a breakup, forcing a laugh as they say, "Plenty of fish in the sea, bro." You nod. You drink. You distract yourself until the numbness sets in. But inside, you're drowning. And no one wants to hear it because male pain is the most forbidden emotion in history. Here are the 3 lies modern men are taught. Lie number 1. Vulnerability is weakness. In ancient Sparta, warriors wept openly for fallen comrades. The Stoics, often misquoted by self-help hustlers, never preached emotional suppression. They preached mastery. Seneca begged his friends to share their sorrows. But today, you're told to bury your heartbreak under gym memberships and hustle culture. And when the pain leaks out as anger, addiction, or another broken relationship, you're labeled toxic. That's not strength. That's emotional amputation. Line number 2. Your value is your utility. Medieval knights weren't loved for their productivity. They were admired for courage, for virtue, for honor. Now, you're reduced to a resume, a bank account, a provider role. Women say they want sensitivity, but study after study shows they're drawn to status, dominance, and power. And when you stumble, when you reveal uncertainty, you feel her pull away. That's why so many men turn to the red pill, not out of hatred, but out of disillusion. Line number 3, you are disposable. In 2023, a man in Tokyo jumped in front of a train after his wife left him. His suicide note read, "Without her love, I am nothing." This is the darkest symptom of male trauma, the belief that without validation, you're worthless. And society encourages it. Divorce courts strip men of children, homes, futures. Media portrays lonely men as creeps, while lonely women are celebrated as independent. Mental health campaigns target women twice as often as men, even though men make up 80% of suicides. Your heartbreak isn't random, it's systemic. Because a man who thinks he's unlovable will work harder to earn love, buy diamonds, sacrifice dreams. A man terrified of loneliness will tolerate neglect, abuse, betrayal. And a man who believes his pain is shameful will never rebel against the system crushing him. This is why Heidegger argued most men live in the they, a hollow existence chasing society's dreams instead of their own. We don't love women. We love the illusion of being loved by them. And that's why we keep signing the same bargain. I will sacrifice everything for crumbs of affection. But there is a way out. The samurai had a word, mushin, no mind, a state where fear, desire, and ego dissolve, leaving only pure action. This is the strength modern men must reclaim. Not fake stoicism, not repressed emotion, but the resilience of a man who's faced his pain and no longer fears it. And yet that's only half the battle, because the final truth, the one that will either liberate you or break you, is this: love itself is not what you think it is. You're standing at the edge of an abyss. Everything you believed about love lies shattered at your feet. The fairy tales, the rom-com promises, the texts that once felt like lifelines, they all collapse into dust. And now, there's only silence. But this silence isn't empty. Heidegger called it the clearing, a moment where illusions burn away, and what's left isn't nothingness, but possibility. This is where authentic love begins. Not the love you were sold, not the love that drains you, but the kind that survives when every false promise dies. Let me share a story. In 1924, Japanese poet Kenji Miyazawa watched his sister die of tuberculosis. As she faded, she whispered, "Kenji, promise me you'll live beautifully." He carried those words for the rest of his short life. He poured his grief into over 1,000 poems, not of despair, but of awe. He wrote of galaxies and grains of rice, of thunderstorms and joy, of love so vast it embraced even death. On his deathbed at 37, his last words were, "No one truly grieves who has not loved beyond the personal." That's the secret. Modern love is small. It's transactional. It asks, "What can you do for me?" It's a contract signed in fear. But the love Miyazawa found, the love Heidegger hinted at, is something bigger. It doesn't try to own. It doesn't demand salvation. It's not about happiness. It's about freedom. The Greeks had 4 words for love: eros, passion; philia, friendship; storge, familial bond; agape, unconditional love. Modernity collapsed them all into eros, and then corrupted even that. In medieval Persia, Sufi poets like Rumi described love as annihilation, not of the other, but of the self. To love was to dissolve the ego, to open yourself to something divine. Even Nietzsche, often painted as a cold individualist, wrote that maturity is to regain the seriousness of a child at play. For him, true love wasn't need, it was celebration. But today, you've been trained to think love is finding your missing piece, that someone else will complete you. That's not just a lie, it's a kind of violence. Because no one can complete you. And when you demand it, you doom the relationship before it begins. Most men never recover from their first heartbreak. They split in 2 directions. Some become cynics. They decide love is a scam. They build walls, use women, or avoid intimacy entirely. They call it freedom, but it's fear. Their hearts calcify, and they mistake stone for strength. Others become addicts. Each new woman is a new salvation project. They mold themselves into whatever she wants. Their lives turn into haunted houses, each room filled with ghosts of who they almost were. But there's a third path. Imagine this. You meet someone. There's connection. There's passion. But this time, it's different. You don't need her. You don't resent her for your happiness. You don't panic when she pulls away or suffocate when she comes close. Why? Because you've touched what Zen masters call the deathless, the part of you that can't be destroyed by loss. From that ground, you love differently. You love without ownership, like samurai who wrote poems to cherry blossoms, knowing they'd soon fall. You love fully, but with open hands. You love without asking for salvation. You don't demand she heal your wounds. You heal them yourself. And when she leaves, if she betrays you, the love itself remains uncorrupted. like Miyazawa loving even the storm that drowned his village. This isn't indifference, it's the opposite. It's loving so deeply you no longer fear the end. So how do you practice this love in a world designed to crush it? First, become ungovernable. Stop letting corporations, apps, and Hollywood dictate your desires. Delete the apps, burn the rule books, love the way you love. Second, fall in love with the world itself. Heidegger spoke of being in the world, a kind of awe at existence. Train yourself to see beauty in cracked sidewalks, in strangers' laughter, in the way rain hits your skin. A man who loves life will never starve for love. Third, build brotherhood. The Spartans knew a man without brothers was already dead. Find men who see you, who will sit in silence with you when the world burns. Modernity has made even friendship transactional. Sabotage that lie. Because, as Heidegger said, man is not the master of being, nor its slave. He is its shepherd. And love, real love, is the fire you've been tasked to protect. Tend to it like it's sacred. Let it warm you. Let it burn away what's false. And when the winds of life come, and they will, let it roar brighter. If this truth hits you, write one word, Mushin, the samurai's state of no mind, a place where fear and need dissolve, leaving only pure action. That's where love lives, and that's where you begin.